Alright, my friends, here's our plan. So, we've removed this extrusion. When I say we, I mean Rob. Remove this extrusion, and you can see when he's pushing on the bumper, we're getting quite a bit of play there, which gave rise to that crack. So, we have a plan of adding 2 self-tappers in these corners where at the moment there is no support. That'll be an inside thing. We're going to remove the lag bolts and the C-channel inside here, which is also an inside thing. But we're on the outside, and Rob is going to add a blank ton of additional rivets around this radius. And we're going to do that in this neutral position. Single
here,
rivet.
and we're about to fix all that.
That's amazing.
So,
and you're going to put in like 800? We're going to add
as many as I got.
Let's do it.
We'll count them up, divide by 2.
So what Rob is drilling through, there's a C channel, right? That the channel is kind of shaped like this, and he's drilling into one of the edges there, and that's what he's affixing the skin to. She's working hard. It's one of this. It's for our viewers at home. It's about 10,000 degrees right now.
It's only April.
And it's only April. Bob is going to, he has to pull everything out of the bedroom. So he's pulling out the bed first so that we can pull the skin back and access, what do you even call it, a trough?
It's the floor channel.
Floor channel.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The floor channel connects to the steel frame and holds all the plywood and all of that together. And those are just kind of coming apart.
It happens a lot. This is something I never dreamed I would see. Perfect. You were explaining to me, if you wouldn't mind one more time telling us what you're doing. You need access behind this aluminum, right, at the floor.
Yeah, we're not going to take this segment all the way out, just enough to kind of peel it back and see what we can see. If we got to go more, they're just 1/8" rivets. There's not a ton of them. But I don't want to scratch these, so the less I have to handle them, the better.
So good news is those are all hidden.
Right.
These have been PPF'd. So,
yeah.
So again, the reason we're doing this, could you explain to our viewers, like, the way I've been describing it to folks is the trailer's like it's like a tent. Mm-hmm. And they place this rigid tent onto the flatbed of the trailer part, and then they have to affix it somehow. Right. That's coming loose?
There's a floor channel where the walls, inside and out, meet the floor.
And that channel runs along here, right?
Yep, it's all the way around the trailer, and that's really what's attached to the frame, the steel part. On trailers, this one's a 30-foot. The longer they are, the more they're going to flex.
Yeah.
And the steel frame is actually probably more flexible than the body is. So as we're bouncing down the road.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen like big rigs, towing stuff. You see them; they're very flexible. So,
right.
And actually, if they weren't, I think that would be a bad thing. It would brittle. It would break. Yeah. So what's happening is you noticed something suspicious on the back when we were doing service this season. What was it that you noticed that set off your radar?
I don't remember exactly. I pushed on the bumper a little bit, and I could see the back of the frame separate. Not a lot,
yeah,
but it didn't take much for the movement to be evident.
Absolutely. And so
between the rub rail and that frame.
And were you mildly suspicious that I might have been triggering this by putting that bike rack on there? We were joking about you have folks that put motorcycles on, but we don't do that.
Yeah, I don't think Airstream factory recommends that by any means.
Okay, so what are we looking at? What are these?
Those are the bolts that go through the frame, the steel frame underneath.
Now you and I put this insulation in. That's where this pink stuff came from. So
that's it. Just those two.
Okay.
This is the floor channel. These rivets are the outside skin.
Okay.
And this would attach to the inside skin here. And this extrusion goes underneath too, and it kind of cups the floor. The plywood floor.
Gotcha.
So it's all one piece.
Yeah. Okay. So well, I mean, at least we have. What do you call these again? These plates? Just lag bolts, or?
Yeah, they're just like steel.
So, I mean, I'm glad to see that these exist on mine, because I could swear I was watching one show on the Airstream where they were just using self-tappers into the floor. So what's your initial read on this? Is this enough? Or should there be
tight? More? I mean, there's a washer here that looked like, I don't know if it was in...
We decided, by the way, that this water intrusion we're seeing was likely coming from when I blew out the hatch. So,
yeah, it's a little bit of rust in there.
So, what's your prognosis, Doc?
Well, these look okay. Oh, you got another one over there. Does that mean we got one over here too?
Yeah.
We do. They're still there. They're still tight. This kind of looks like it's bent up a little bit. It's hard to tell.
So put more in? Between? Like 1, 2, 3?
We could. We're going to take a look at how they're attached underneath. And
all right. My mind, more is better, but...
Right. So. A lot of it is just kind of spreading out that load, too. I mean, if we have it here and, things are buckling and that kind of stuff, it doesn't look like it.
I don't see no buckling, but if you see it's pulling, then what does that mean? Like more?
I don't. Okay. We'll have to get underneath and kind of see.
Okay. But remember too, and we got to remind you, I effed up this hatch bad. I had really heavy stuff in here, and it was pounding into this.
Right.
I feel like it might have been lifting.
Well, if towards the front of this channel it's attached firmly, but the outside skin here, there's a lot of stress. Maybe that's kind of lifting that up. The skin's actually pulling this piece out.
Okay. But preliminary finding is not a catastrophe, at least. But I like more is better. So if we can put in a few more.
Yeah, it's not like.
Are you going to go back? How far are you going to go back to check for more?
As far as we need to. We'll just keep going until we don't have to go anymore.
Nothing, honey?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm looking at this rib here.
Candidate for maybe for another.
We can see this rib.
Yeah, I see it.
There's not attached to anything.
We found that out though when you were.
Right. When we were doing this part. Yeah. We might remove these and put just like one solid channel across.
That would feel really good.
Yeah.
We're gonna need to put some liquid wrench on those though.
Okay.
Or I'll have to come up here and hold it for you while you. How you get through these through the belly pan? Okay.
Yeah. We're probably gonna have to take down a little bit of the belly pan to get into that channel.
Ready?
Yeah.
She's off.
Nice. Ooh, smoking.
So what Rob is doing is we've got right in here, right in there, there's a, I don't know, rib.
There it is, yeah.
It's kind of floating right now, so he's trying to attach to it. There's a plate here that holds in the channel like this. And he wants to also make sure that that rib attaches to the channel. And there was this lame, sad piece that was in there from the factory. It's a joke. And so he's cutting an 1/8 piece of aluminum angle, so the angle is going to come down there. Then we're going to put the plate on top. Then he's going to put another piece of just 1/8, not even angle here, so we can hold it flat, and then he'll put in some tappers to keep those pieces from walking. The new angle pieces. So compare that lame crap to that.
That's probably 40 thousandths.
Yeah.
These are 128.
I can bend this with my hands, so, you know. Yes.
A real rivet in there. Not that puny little thing. We'll get that tied down. If I have room, we'll get another rivet in there too. That'll pull down flush. Did that plate move at all, or just slip?
No, you got it like it's like you had an X-ray vision.
Yeah.
How's it looking?
Good. I think some self-tappers in there.
Okay.
And we're gonna close this thing up.
Are you looking for a home for these?
Yeah. Alright, those plates will fit in there, no problem, it looks like.
Oh, I see. It's got a tapered end. This is dramatic effect to show how hard this is. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. All right, my friends, so now we have 2 additional bolts through the frame rail that did not exist before. New C channel. We've connected up this rib, which was floating in the past, and Rob put in a couple dozen bolts, or a couple dozen broadhead rivets on the outside. And even just when you did that, just the rivets to the skin, it was already looking better.
It was a lot more stiff. And I bet if we went out there now,
it's going to be rock solid. So can you, just in a quick summary, if we hadn't done this, what would happen is it would obviously get worse. Right. Then the skin starts to buckle, is that right? Outside?
Yeah. Anytime you're going over a bump, especially if you have a lot going on in the bumper and aft, all that's bouncing up and down. We're allowing that movement, so it's going to start smacking into the coach. Or if you come out of the gas station and your back end hits the ground, these 2 corner segments on the outside are going to start to see dents on the bottom where the frame's basically just mashing into the body.
So we're preventing that play.
Right. I mean, if you really whack the back end, you're going to do some damage no matter what. But this is preventing just normal operation from causing any problems.
Should we just push most of it on this first?
Yeah, I guess that's a smart thing to do.
I think we're down to the last thing. Time to put the mattress back. All right, it's been a few days since we shot that video, and you can see the bed is back in place, and so are the pillars. You'd never know anything happened, but as a reminder, behind these pillars here, we have like a radius, and Rob needed to get access to that radius to pull back the skin to add more support for the trailer. So he put in these self-tappers and a plate. And then behind the bed here, down where the hatch is, we put in a piece of C-channel, strong steel C-channel. He painted it so there wouldn't be dissimilar metals touching each other. And then we replaced the bolts with brand new ones to give it more spread out load. And then had to put everything here back. So now let's go back and look at what happened outside. All right, on the outside, Rob pulled off this rub rail and replaced it later. Then he had to remove that extrusion, and that allowed him to add a bunch of broadhead rivets to reaffix the skin. And I should point out that while he was in the bedroom area there, he did also reattach. There's right along here, there is a rib that was floating that had ripped off, both of them actually. And he was able to reach the bolts, the lag bolts that hold down those plates into the frame channel. He was able to get to that through the bumper, and so we were able to pull those bolts out and replace them. And like I said, he put in, from here to here, he put in a piece of steel that's been coated, and also did the rivets here. So with that, we were able to take care of this rear end separation, and we get no more movement now. You can see I'm pushing on the bike rack, and we're not getting any movement anymore on those cracked areas that were giving us the signal that something was wrong.